Hello, everybody. For today, you're gonna get a glasses, Marta, because I have been writing like crazy for the last 3 days and put down 42 pages over the long weekend. I am indeed a tiny bit possessed, even though my patron stated that I don't need to finish the book that was his idea in like a week, but my mind kind of got stuck on that. So I really feel a bit out right now. Anyways, sorry for the looks. I would have done eye makeup if I could have been bothered, but I've been writing. Today we're here to talk about Ouija boards. And of course, I have one. Who do you take me to be? Of course I have one. Why wouldn't I have one? Anyways, I lifted it up to show you with the packaging. I should actually remove it from the packaging. It normally just sits in my house and collects dust. But if you want to know if they're safe, then, well, think of it this way. It sits in my house and collects dust. Nothing has exploded. A Ouija board is, I like to call them letterboards because people are not as scared of a concept of letters on a board than they are of letters on a board that have a name assigned to them for some bizarre reason. Ouija boards are a party game / method of communicating with spirits. They normally require at least 2 people. You want to have 3, preferably. Because, let me tell you something, this has some friction. So even if you put the planchette on it, it still has enough friction that what you actually want is to have multiple people not knowing where their combined hands are pushing, because this thing, it needs some energy to go places. It doesn't go on its own. So I would say that Ouija boards are kind of unfit of doing divination by yourself. It would be a lot easier for you to just take out some tarot cards or a pendulum, or even do automatic writing, because for some reason, at least for me, if you are gonna get your hands possessed by a spirit, it's actually easier to scribble with a pen while in a trance state than it is to push a planchette on a board and register where it is stopping. Now, there are a lot of fears around Ouija boards, but once again, it's not concentrated in the right spot. Let me tell it that way, because a Ouija board is just once again, a party game or a divination tool. It's not the spirit itself. It's not doing anything on its own. It's just the plank with some letters on it. That is all it is. Let's say you have friends over. I would say that the reason why it gets negative reputation is because people just yell into the universe, and whoever answers, you don't know who that is. So you tend to have a whole bunch of parasites or Billy's grandma that's really bored in your space at any given time, probably. I mean, sometimes there's absolutely no spiritual activity. My house would have absolutely no spiritual activity whatsoever, because all of my spiritual activity is done by my patron. And whatever kind of other things that he has put down in here to keep me nice and safe, but it keeps absolutely every other spiritual energy far, far away from this house. So I couldn't just ring up somebody's random passerby ghost that might be passing by. But that's what people do with Ouija boards. They tend to yell into the universe of, is anybody there? and wait for absolutely anyone to pick up the phone. And when you wait for absolutely anyone to pick up the phone, it can be absolutely anyone. It's kind of like playing a chat roulette. You can meet a decent human being and have a chat, or you can see somebody's dick on screen. It's, it's a chance. You take it. So, the way that people use it is the danger element. It's bad spirits not gonna do anything. Most people just kind of shit themselves. If you instead were deciding to call a specific being and then with your friends use this as a communication method, it would be about as safe as a pendulum. What to do / not to do with the board. You don't need to do anything with the board. You can cleanse the board if that is your spiritual practice. The easiest way would be to put the board under running water to wash it away from any remaining spiritual energy, or to imagine just white light passing through the board. That works pretty well too. But a lot of people have this idea that you're like supposed to just throw away the board after using it, or burn the board, or very specifically not burn the board. The spirit that you are contacting is in your area. Like, like the girls that are in your area, they're not in the board. The same way that with a pendulum, you're using the motion of it swinging to figure out what the spirit is trying to tell you. The spirit is not in a pendulum. You don't just throw away your necklaces after using it for divination. Why the hell are you so afraid of boards and are trying to destroy them? Nothing's gonna happen to it. It is a piece of wood. So reality, when you use the spirit board, you say goodbye to whoever is in your area. You put the board away. That is what you do with the board. If whatever is in the area did not leave, you assert that it is your space, and you tell them to fuck right off while laughing in their face. That tends to always most definitely work, because most spirits get a kick out of you being scared. If you're not, and if you know your own power and can protect your own space, you're gonna be 100% fine. So I honestly don't know why people are afraid of tiny bit of slippery surface and just a board. Probably too many Hollywood movies. We need to start making Hollywood movies with pendulums, because then people will start getting really scared about necklaces, and that would be absolutely hilarious. Anyway, if you can make one yourself. And if you're gonna make one yourself, make sure that the surface of this thing and that the surface of the board itself is slippery enough. If anything, if you make it slippery enough, it might be an okay communication method for one person as well, but at that point, you would kind of be in a half out of it state. And you would need to figure out all the letters that the thing landed on, and when you're in a half out of it state, your brain might not just properly communicate what you're even staring at it. The spiritual communication by yourself is a fun business, especially when you're not used to, and you can get slight meditation amnesia and completely not remember anything that was disclosed to you in like the last half an hour, and then you're like, what did I even do in here? Which makes the communication really pointless, but eventually you get used to it, and eventually you do remember things. But to kind of enter meditation, do an invocation for a spirit, pull its energy down to you, you're gonna be kind of in this out of it spiritual state, like you just spent time daydreaming in the classroom and completely forgot what the sense of time is, or I don't know, you just inhaled too much smoke and you're kind of dizzy. That's kind of the state that you kind of end up in. And using a board one letter at a time and remembering the fuck you're spelling at the same time, even the board is really slippery. That's gonna be a challenge of its own, but normally you're supposed to bring several people into these kind of things. In general, I don't really like Ouija boards because oftentimes you will not have people with aligning spirituality, so the most use that you're gonna get out of it is as a party trick where people just call out to the universe of, is anybody here? And wait for answers. But as a tool itself, it's nothing to be afraid of. It can be in anyone's room, and it's only about as cursed as the alphabet is, because it's effectively the alphabet on a board. Are you scared of the English alphabet? If you're not, then you shouldn't be scared of the English alphabet on a piece of wood. I hope that this clears things up for people that want to know something about Ouija boards. And I hope this wasn't an entirely waste of time for you guys. I have had a video suggestion on how to find your patron, which I will likely do, but I will also kinda feel like I'm wasting time doing it because I am currently in write a book mode that I can't seem to switch off. That's the bad thing about having spiritual suggestions, especially when the spirit itself is like, whoopsie, that was my idea. Are you okay? And you're like, yeah, but I'm really fired up now. You kinda tunnel vision that one thing that you're doing, and everything else becomes, but mom, I don't want to do that other thing. I am doing this thing instead. So I put so many things that I wanted to do on hold. Like I put painting on hold. I'm kind of angry that I have to do work, even though there's actually work to do, and that is a good thing for my financial state. Because I'm just that focused on writing a book that I don't even need to be writing this fast. Or at all, because it's not like it's a prime directive, it was just an idea that wasn't entirely mine, and it just kinda ended up sticking. So if you want any more crazy lady content, just tell me what kinda occult topic you would like me to cover, and I can do so. It's really not a problem for me when I am not being angry that I am not doing something else. Thank you for watching, and I hope I'm gonna see you the next time. Toodaloo!